Hello there. I've decided that I'm going to try to read my blogs to you and then try to explain them. I'm going to do a series of those. So first of all, this is blog 2 on my blogs, and the one that's titled Being Me in a Healthy, Loving Relationship. So the first paragraph says, the Czech poet Rainer Maria Rilke said, I hold this to be the highest task of a bond between two people, that each should stand guard over the solitude of the other. End quote. This would not be a verse I've put down, on a Valentine's card, because they tend to tell us that we should be basically conjoined if we love each other. However, in my experience as a couples therapist, in the years that I've worked at this, I've found that troubles in relationship have a lot to do with not accepting the individuality of the person. The second part then of that, the second paragraph says, if we want to grow in love, it takes action on our part. Love has to mature no matter how beautiful it is at the beginning. A bud is usually never as beautiful as the mature flower, and yet it has to be there before the flower can exist. We need to actively work at our intimate relationships because there are so many other things that take our focus off the relationship. To mature is to change, and we all know that most changes involve growth and pain. Too often, we think pain should not be part of the intimate relationship. I suppose what I'm trying to get across there is basically relationships aren't easy if they're committed and long term because there's two individuals. And in my 30 years of looking, or plus years of working and looking at couples in this room here and other rooms, that's where the sticking point is. It's almost like you and I want to browbeat the other person into thinking as we think, acting as we act, seeing what's important that we see as important, even if it's just simple tasks. And so part of the couple endeavor is to really try to accept the difference of the other and not see them as a threat to us because they have a different viewpoint. So that's what I'm trying to get across there. The third paragraph then says, what can I do to feel happy with my partner and ensure that the love is the center of our union rather than simply functioning? Am I waiting on my spouse to change his or her approach? This is such a common stance, and yet it leaves me with such frustration and disappointment and my partner feeling attacked and defensive. You must, I've stressed, be the one to try to bring the change that you desire. We can't change our partners, but we can try to change ourselves and our approach to each situation. Our defenses that predate our marriage inhibit us from being vulnerable to our spouses, and the result can be a deep sense that I am not being understood and I am not fulfilling myself. Blaming the partner is so easy and has very little chance of helping us to grow. Once again, I'm just trying to stress there that what can you change in the relationship? Here, me, I can change. And I know that even in my own marriage, especially in the early years, there was a determined effort on my part to help my partner to really see what the truth was, my truth. And I see that time and time again in the therapy sessions, and I still experience it in my own marriage. It's really hard to accept the difference of the other, not necessarily to agree with everything, just to accept. and to try to convey your viewpoint so that you can come up with a way forward that you're both quite happy with. Neither of you feel you're being told you're wrong. The next paragraph on that blog says, I need to fulfill myself. I need to let down some of the defenses that keep my wife or husband from truly knowing me. And I am the one who needs to clarify my feelings, needs, wants, and desires. Most people are usually vulnerable when they first meet, and yet they get consumed by all the other aspects of life. So this is so true. When whatever the hell it is, pheromones, lust, a belief that this person is going to fulfill everything my heart desires, when we have that first meeting, for a period of time, it's like we're sort of intoxicated. We feel comfortable, we feel accepted, we feel loved. And then, as the commitments continue and as we get to know each other, there's going to be arguments. There has to be. And then we can end up going back to old defense mechanisms, and before we know where we are, that really beautiful feeling starts to be diminished. That's what I'm trying to get across there. Try not to be just another person. Start to work on bringing about what you feel a need for in life. It's ideal if your spouse will start with you, but if they won't, then start yourself, and there's more chance that they will then move with you. It won't be easy, definitely not. It won't be easy, but what's the alternative? Don't try to bring huge changes about, but do little things that will make a difference for you and the relationship. Maybe it will be taking time off to reflect, or showing more awareness of your partner as you part in the morning or return in the evening. You could establish a date night or a day each week. Try to touch them more or ask about how your spouse's day went. Maybe exercise together, have some type of hobby together. Just don't let the marriage grow old, but try to help it grow new each day of this busy life. Sometimes you can't do it alone, and that's when you need the help of a good marriage and family therapist, somebody who's experienced that. So all that I'm trying to get across there is, oftentimes we point out the way we see the partner as the problem. They may have problems, but we can't change that person. They can change them. And in fact, if we keep on pointing at them, it's quite likely it's going to inhibit the change that I hope for between us. And that is the thing in relationships, of what goes on between us. What did we learn about relationship from our families? Just through our observing of them, especially in our developmental years. What did we walk into the relationship with? Do I see that I have problems in this relationship? And personally, as a therapist, that's where I find one of the biggest struggles. People not being prepared to see their issue. They might say, well, I know I have issues, but of course we know what's going to follow then. But really it's you, really it's him, really it's her. And that is just, I think logically you know this, most people know this, that is not going to do anything apart from make things worse. So how can we pull it back to me? And if I truly change and become healthier, that person I loved and love, there's much more likely of getting a connection with them, of me feeling understood by them, and they're going to feel less threatened. Therefore, they're more likely to expose themselves to me, which then I feel very much connected with as well. So that's a little bit of a commentary on my blog. I'm going to try to do this with each of my blogs. Again, maybe every week or 2 weeks apart, I try to make a video and expand a little bit on what I've written. Hope this helps you, and my whole intention here is hopefully that this helps you to reflect a little bit more on your life and your relationships, especially the intimate ones. If you're married, to really try to work on me so that I can have a happier marriage. That might not be possible with the person I'm with, but there's a hell of a lot more potential for a happy marriage with that person if I am trying to be healthier in myself and acknowledging what my issues are. Thank you for listening. Hope it helps you. Bye for now, and good luck in your relationships.